Alright, this is Will Hutchinson, and we're going to be solving the math problem. So we are given that two planes are taken off from the same place, so we know they're both starting in the same place. We know that plane A is flying at 400 miles per hour, north 20 east. Plane B flies at 500 miles per hour at south 30 east. So what we need to find are how far apart are the planes and what are the bearings of plane A to plane B at the end of 3 hours. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to draw a graph here. And we are going to have a point where both planes are flying from. So we're going to use the origin for that point. And we're going to say this represents plane A right here. And so we know that he is flying 20 degrees north of east. And we know that it's going 400 miles per hour. And we want to find it after 3 hours. So we know that this distance right here is 1,200 miles. All right, now for the second plane, we know it's flying south 30 degrees east. So we draw our plane. Now we know it flies at 500 miles per hour. So then over the course of 3 hours, we know that it's going to go 1,500 miles. All right, so now that we have our picture lined up, and since we have an angle measurement and a side length, and we know that these are 90-degree triangles, we can go ahead and solve for these sides using sine, cosine, and tangent. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. All right, so first off, we're going to solve for this side length. So we know that we can use sine. Sine for this side length here, we'll call it x. So we know that sine 20, because we have this 20-degree angle here, is equal to the opposite side, which is that side, so x over 1,200. And for a calculator, sine 20, and then we get that, and we can do that times 1,200, and we get x equals 410.42. So we got that side length. Now for this side length, we can use cosine. So we can do cosine of 20 degrees equals that side length over 1,200. So then we can do cosine of 20 equals that times 1,200. So we know that that length is 1,127.63. All right, so now we're going to solve for these two side lengths. So first off, we can find this side length by doing sine of 30 degrees is equal to x, which would represent this side length, divided by 1,500. So then we'll do sine 30 equals 0.5 times 1,500, and we get 750. So, all right, and then for this length, we can do cosine of 30 is equal to 1,500 divided by x, or my bad, x divided by 1,500. So then cosine 30 degrees equals that times 1,500. And we get 1,299.03. So or sorry, 0, 4. All right. So now that we have found these, we can use these as coordinates, because what we need to do is find this triangle here in order to find, so we can pretend that this right here is our new graph, okay? And that this is the origin, and we need to find this angle right here, which will be our bearing. And we need to find this length to find how far apart the planes are after the 3 hours. So we have found these coordinates just now by finding this. So we have, so for this coordinate right here, it's 410.42 and 1127.63. And then for this coordinate right here, we have 750 and negative. You need to remember that this is negative because it's below the x-axis, so the y value is negative 1299.04. All right, now in order to find this triangle and to find the degrees of this bearing, well, first we know that this is 90 degrees because this line right here is perpendicular to this line right here, which is parallel to the x-axis. So first we need to add these two values together to get this total length. So 1127.63 plus 1299.04. We're going to get and we get 2426.67 as our total length here. All right, now we can use this to find this right here, this angle. But first we need to find this measurement right here. So what we do is we're going to do 750. We're going to subtract 410 because we know that this is 410 units away from here, but we want to find this to this. So this distance right here is 750, and this distance 410. So if we subtract 410.42 from 750, we will get that distance. So 750 minus 410.42 equals 339.58. All right, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and use tangent to find this. So we can do tangent of x equals, so tangent's opposite over adjacent. So the opposite side length is this, which is 339.58 divided by the adjacent side length, which is 2426.67. All right, so now we can do this on our calculator. 339.58 divided by 2426.67, and we'll get that. Then we do the inverse of tangent to that answer, and we get the bearing. Well, we get the angle measurement of x equals 7.966, but this angle measurement is also a bearing because it is it's the angle measurement that represents this bearing. So we know that from this point, which is the point of plane A after 3 hours, we know that from that point, this point is south 7.966 degrees east. All right, so in order to find distance from the planes of each other, we can do cosine of 7.966 degrees, or my bad, cosine of 7.966 degrees, and that is equivalent to this distance right here, because cosine is adjacent above over hypotenuse, so 2,426.67 divided by x. Now, in your calculator, we can do cosine 7.966, and we can divide 2,426.67 by that. And we get our value of the distance between the two planes, be 2,450.31 miles.